Hi guys, welcome to our next instalment for our videos. Today, myself and Henry are going to look at bar chords. We've had a request for this one, so thanks to Wayne for requesting this one. So we're going to talk to you about bar chords, talk about the concept of bar chords, and how you get away from what you've learned from your open positions, moving them into bar chord shapes.
What do we mean by a difference between open positions and bar chords? Open position chords are chords you hopefully know for this video, which are the kind of chords down in the sort of first to third fret kind of territory there. So things like A minors, E minors, C's, G's, D's, they're all open chords, often called cowboy chords as well.
Cowboy chords?
Yeah, because they, I think in the old cowboy films, sorry, I've never watched one. They used to play songs like that. So, those chords are going to be really essential to know, like the back of your hand, to make a bar chord. Why bother playing bar chords? What's the point?
I think, to be honest, it comes to a point in your playing where you know all your C's, your G's, your A minors, your D's, and then you want to experiment moving to different keys, and then you might want to move into key of E flat, or you might want to go to B flat, and then you're going to go, well, I'm going to do this with open chords. It's not possible, or it's not so easy to do. So
there's also different voicings as well. So
yeah.
For instance, an E minor, your choice down here. So it's great. It's a lovely chord, very low sounding, very bassy. But an E minor using a bar chord has a different kind of feel altogether. Which is really nice.
That's exactly it. I mean, it's just giving you more options, and the more options you've got as a player, the better you're going to be, and the more options you're going to have when you're doing different things, playing different songs with other people, or whatever you're doing.
Yeah. So, first of all, you're going to have to make a bar. Now, they can be a bit uncomfortable to make, can't they?
Yeah.
It can be pretty painful and unpleasant.
And no one's fingers are weird, by the way, because I've had that a few times. So someone said to me, like, oh, my fingers are too long, my fingers are too stubby, my fingers are too short, my fingers are too... It's like every excuse,
yeah, and it's tricky. Whatever you do, if you're starting out with bar chords, it is going to be hard no matter what. But persevere because it gets easier. I didn't learn bar chords for years into my playing, and I regretted it because once I did, it opened it like a floodgate of songs that I could finally.
It's a big step in your playing, isn't it? I think it's a big step, and I remember learning them. And I remember being in pain. I remember not making it for a song either. I couldn't make it for a full song. I would get like fatigue in my hand. So my thumb, I'd be like, ah. So it's that, isn't it? And I think that's a good aim as well to set yourself. If you are learning a song or whatever you're learning, I think it's a good aim to set yourself, right, I'm going to do half this or quarter of this song, and then I'm going to rest. And then I'm going to try next time to get to halfway through the song, because it is hard to begin with bar chords. You build up a lot of tension in the... It feels like it anyway, doesn't it? Sort of get a lot of pain in the thumb or in the wrist.
Yeah, definitely.
So
what chords should we make first?
Well, so the things you're going to need for this lesson are your open chords in the key of E minor and A minor, and obviously the major ones as well, and the dominant seventh ones. What I mean by that is you'll need to know E minor, here, E major, E7, and then same on the A with the roots on the A, so the A chord, A major, A minor, and then A7. That's all the shapes you're going to need today for this to work. And the best way I think of explaining it to you, to get you straight into the bar chords, is if you start down this end with the chords you're familiar with the open chords. Say we start with the E major.
E major, yeah.
So if you start down here, now you want to refinger this chord so that you're not playing it like that, so your normal way of playing it.
Yeah.
If you can refinger it and free up the first finger, this is a good way of explaining it, I think. But so you've got the fourth finger on the second fret of the D string, the third finger on the second fret of the A string, and then your second finger on the first fret of the G string.
Yeah.
If you finger it like that, and then you've got your first finger free, if you shuffle that up one fret, the whole shape, keep this shape, shuffle that up one, and then flatten the first finger down across the first fret. Aiming to keep it right close to the fretwire like we normally do to get clear notes, and just the right amount of pressure, not too much because you'll push the guitar out, push it out of tune, and not really sort of just gently pressing on there because you'll get this, that horrible clunky sound. So good amount of pressure on it, press down, use the thumb on the back of the neck as well.
About halfway down.
Yeah, about halfway down. We might come to a close-up I think at the end of this video, just so you can see the back of the neck. It's quite hard to just see it from here. So the thumb on the back of the neck, in the middle of the neck, and just using that thumb to allow grip and push back on the fingers, pushing down there, and you should get a nice clear chord. What you might want to do as well is just pick out the individual notes, so when you're playing that chord, always a good exercise, isn't it, when you play it? Exactly. To work out if there's any problems in that chord. If there is, and you're getting some sort of like
choking,
work out where the problem is, and then try and readjust your hand or the pressure to sort of work out and see if you can get rid of the the duff note in there. Really, that's it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that chord there. This is where everyone gets confused as well, because that chord there is an F major chord taken from an E shape.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the shape we are using is an E shape. That's this configuration of our fingers. We moved everything up 1 fret, and we also brought the open strings up as well. So everything moved up 1 tone relative to each other, and they stayed as a major chord because E was a major chord. Now F's now a major chord.
Yeah.
We're starting on an F note in the bass, and we'll go into that a bit more in a minute. So we've got an F major chord, but it's an E shape. Okay. The reason we talk about shapes is it's much easier then to talk about different voicings. So and it goes into another thing that we'll talk about maybe in a later video called the cage system, which is so useful and it really helps. So so that's an F major. If you were to move that up again another fret, you'd have an F sharp major, and it would carry on up the neck to G, G sharp, A sharp, and B and C sharp, and that kind of thing.
it's important to say that if you put your chord back on it where you are there, it's important to say that your root note is here and this one here. Yeah, and it's always the same. So it's the root note on the E string. That's why we say E shape. Root note on the E string as well. And
absolutely, yeah. That's where the root note is. So so that's an E major shape.
Yeah.
Should we go into the E minor shape?
Yeah.
The E minor shape is the same as if you were to do an E minor down here. Same principle as what Rich said. Move your fingers down the bust to free up the first finger if you haven't already freed it up, and you'd move that up, and then you'd put the bar down, or if you want it more comfortably, I do it with my little fingers, like that. And so that's now an F minor chord. It's the same chord we had before, but without using our second finger. F minor, F sharp minor, G minor, carries on like that.
And that's in an E minor shape.
In an E minor shape, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now that's brilliant. So now you can pretty much play any major and any minor chord, no matter
in any key.
In any key, no matter what. So you can go, if someone's in E flat major, you're up on the 11th fret there, playing a major E major shape. Problem with that is sometimes you don't want to be just jumping all over the place.
Yeah.
And so there's another shape that we're going to show you now to help keep movement.
Should we show, just before we do that, should we show the 7th one as well?
Oh, the 7th, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
cool,
so the 7th one. So the other one, before we move on to the other ones, is the E7 shape. So normally we do it like this. Down on the position. If we swap our fingers again, I swap it for the 2nd and the 3rd this time. I slide it up 1 fret, and again I put the bar back down. I've got an F7 chord there, and that's in an E7 shape. Right. But the most important note here, which I find very common, it doesn't ring out, people just go, that's any different to my major chord, is because the 1st fret on the D string is not enough pressure down on there. If that note's not there, it's not the 7th, is it? That note's really important to everybody. You just get sort of a major tonality otherwise, don't you? So you need that note there. So that's your so far if we recap, we've got the F major in an E shape, F minor in an E minor shape, and then we got F7. That's in an E7 shape. Perfect. All right.
Brilliant. Yeah. The same thing can be applied to the A major chords and the A minor chord, A7 chord. And the same principle works. You have to be a little bit more careful though, don't you, because of the 6th string. When you play an A chord down here, we don't play the 6th string. If we did, there's a bit of mud in the bass and it's an E, it confuses everything. So we try and avoid the 6th string. So when we're going to do bar chords using this, we're not going to use the 6th string either. Do you bar or you don't bar the 6th string?
No, I don't. No. And that's a really good thing to say, because I've seen people do that, and it's a real bad habit to get into. Because it stops you from, I think it stops you from thinking about where the root notes are. Yeah. If you've got your finger right across to the 6th, you're always going to be thinking, in my eyes, that the root note's there. Exactly.
And there's another reason as well. We'll go, in fact, I'll go into that a bit later on because it'll be a bit confusing. Let's try and make this chord.
Yeah. So if we start with the A major shape that we already know, everyone knows this one. We normally probably do it like that, or some people do it like that, flat fingered, or some people do it like that. So there's nothing wrong with either of those. So if you start with this one with the 2nd finger, 3rd finger and 4th finger in a line there on the 2nd fret. If I slide that up 1 fret, up to fret 3, and then I put the bar down. Now this is a real classical way of doing it. This is more of a classical way of doing it. So if you're a classical player, you're probably used to this shape, like that. And I've got a few students who play like that because I find it more comfortable. There's nothing wrong with that. But I do it more of a rock way and a pop way, which is more like that. So the double. Then then that's got the double bar, and then that stops you from that high E string coming into effect. So if you do it like that, you can get that note at the top there, the F note at the top.
That's true, yeah.
So try both if you can.
Yeah, see which one.
I'm going to stick to what I'm used to, which is that.
The only thing is when we go to A7,
yes,
it's more tricky. But we'll do A minor first. So same thing with A minor. A minor is like this. Going to move everything down the bass. Free up our first finger, slide it up 1 fret, put the bar down. Now the bar's going down from the 5th string down. The reason being is that we don't want to hear this 6th string sounding. So I'm going to actually nestle my finger into the 6th string there, so that it doesn't really make much noise.
You're muting it, aren't you?
Muting it, exactly. Yeah. And so then I can kind of not worry too much about when I'm slamming chords, about hitting that 6th string by accident. So that's the other reason I was going to say about keeping the bar low. So the bar's from the 5th string down. I've made an A minor shape.
Yep.
And this is a B flat minor chord.
Just because the root note is B flat, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
So that's the reason why that is.
Yeah. A7, which we're going to go on from there. A7 is like an A chord with your middle finger up. We're going to do that with a bar. It's tricky to do that with the double bar because you have to kind of commit to all those notes there if you're doing it as a double bar. So you do it like this, free up your fingers, your first finger, and either do it like that or do it like that. The good thing about doing that is you can use your first finger.
I think that's more of the method that most people use because of you've got more of a split on the fingers there, so it's easier to reach, isn't it? So
you want it to be kind of comfortable as much as possible because it's going to always be uncomfortable.
You're going to get, to begin with, if this is brand new to you, you're going to get aches in the wrist here and also in the back of the thumb. Yeah. It's going to hurt. So I would say do this in like little intervals, doing little stints. Don't sit there for hours and hours trying to practice your bar chords because you put yourself out for a long time. Yeah, so just to begin with, it's going to hurt, isn't it? Yeah. So there's no lie to you. There's no point lying to you. It is going to hurt.
Yeah. Just persevere. It will get easier. Cool.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing I would do, but you don't even have to apply it to a song to begin with, because you want to get all the chords clear first of all. I would just run through what you just did then, the 3 shapes on each, and just do like a major, F major with the E shape. So I go, make sure all notes are clear, then I go to the minor, and then the 7th, and then I would move that down to the A major. So A major shape, B flat that is, then I go to the minor, and then the dominant 7th. And just making sure all of those notes are clear before you move on anywhere else. Before you start applying it to a song, make sure you got that groundwork, got it sounding clear.
Yeah.
And then think about applying it to a song.
Definitely.
Good song is Starman by David Bowie.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a really good song for practicing your bar chords.
Oh, okay.
So that's a really good one that I've used a few times teaching. But yeah, so that's your 6 shapes. We should probably talk about the root notes as well, like we were saying earlier. So if we go on to that next, which is basically all of the shapes you're learning here have a root note on the E or the A string.
In any chord, if it's an E chord, it should have an E in the bass. If it's a B chord, it should have a B in the bass, and the pattern stays the same, unless specified otherwise with a little slash after the chord name. Yeah. So that's why it's really important to know the notes on the 6th and the 5th string at least, to kind of help you know all your chords. Then once you've learned one shape and you're comfortable with those chords, those shapes, then you can play any chord whatsoever, no problems. Yeah. So it's pretty much alphabetical with the sharps and the flats, except for there are 2 red herrings that might catch you out. So just pay attention to what those might be. When you look at a piano, you have all the white keys A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you have 5 black keys. There are 2 pairs of white notes that don't have a black key in between them. So those are the ones that are most likely to catch you out. Those notes are E and F. There's no E sharp or F flat, doesn't exist. And B and C, no B sharp or C flat. That doesn't exist. So when you're counting up, it's fine to go, E, F, E. Let's do it from A sharp, B. But when you get to B, you want to make sure you go to C, straight to C, not B sharp, because that'll throw you out. Yes. Yeah. So on the 6th string, we've got E, it's the open string. Then we've got F, because there's no E sharp or F flat. F sharp or G flat. G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, B and C, and then C sharp, D, D sharp and E. And if you end up on the double dot on your guitar and you're on the note that you started on an E, then you've done it right. right, so well done.
Top marks.
On the A string, do you want to do the A string?
Yeah, I'll do the A string. As I say, well, if you carry on past the 12th fret, it's just the same as down
repeats
your low end, so it's just like copy and paste. But yeah, I'll do the A string for you. So it's A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and then back to A again. So we've gone through a whole 12 keys there.
Absolutely, and you could just pick one of those. If it's on the 5th string, you want to use one of the A-shaped chords to make a chord. So, if, for instance, you want a D minor bar chord, you find the D on the 5th string, and then you make an A minor shape. Okay, so it's if you're doing an A minor shape, when the root note is a D, you've got a D minor. Okay, I know it's really complicated, but just persevere with it, and it will start making sense. If you're doing a chord from the E string, you want to use on the 6th string, sorry, you want to use an E shape bar chord. Okay, so either E minor, E7, or E major.
Also, like we said there, just a little exercise. When we did those little exercises earlier, we said about strumming all the chords through the minor, through the dominant 7th. I would do that on every fret, just to begin with. Move your way up through the shapes, because it feels different up here.
Very different, yeah.
Like an E major chord up here.
Much more comfortable up here.
Yeah, because the frets are slimmer, it's easier and it's closer together. It will feel horrible down there when you try and do your F chord, because everything's as far away as possible. So it's quite a stretch to do that. So if you bring it up here, you'll go, oh, blimey, this is easy. So as I say, just work your way up. So something like this, where you go. As quick as you're comfortable with as well, because you're aiming for clear notes, so it doesn't matter about speed, but I'm just going to quick for this video. Nothing musical really, but it just gets you the concept of getting the bar chords under your fingers and getting them clear.
Yeah.
So yeah,
cool.
I think we covered most aspects there. It gives you enough to go away with and practice the bar chords. Take a look at the David Bowie song Starman if you like Bowie.
Layla, I always think as well.
Yeah,
that's really
good one.
That.
Yeah.
There's a lot of changing chords and things like that. Some chords that can't be played in the open position.
That's a really good one, yeah.
So take it easy. It is hard. Honestly, it will change your life. It's like the best thing because you can then you can literally walk into a music shop, buy one of those songbooks, and you can play every chord in there. So it's really worth doing if you can practice your bar chords once a day, pretty solidly. Then all of a sudden they're easy and they won't give you any worry anymore.
And as we said, it's just starting off slow and setting yourself a little goal. Like I'm going to get myself through a quarter of the. I'm going to get myself through the first intro or the verse of the song. And then say, right, next time I'm going to do the intro and the verse and maybe have a little bit of the pre-chorus or something. Just building it up like that. Because you're not going to go straight away through a whole song with bar chords, something you just literally just learn. Because your hand is going to not be used to it. So what are you doing? Like
exactly, I
can't do this. So get used to that, because it will take a little while to build the endurance in your thumb and in your hand. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Give us some feedback. Share it with friends and things like that. That'd be great. We really appreciate that.
And next week, if you've got something you'd like us to talk about, that's
I think we're in the back of our mind, we think about talking like drop tunings, so like drop D and things like that. We said about that, so we thought we'd talk about that in the video. But if you've got something else, like we prioritised this video because one of our students asked us for this, so we prioritised this video. So if there's something you want to see or ask us about, then by all means comment on the video, and don't forget to subscribe as well, because these videos are going on YouTube. So if you want to see some more of these videos, then subscribe to the channel, and every time they come out, you'll get an update. And you can watch our ugly mugs on the telly. Cool. Anyway, from now, from myself, goodbye. And from Henry,
goodbye.
And we'll see you next week. Thank you. Cheers.